Welcome to the Wow Body Podcast, where we redefine what it means to be a healthy, ambitious woman. I'm your host, Renee, a nutritionist, women's health coach, personal trainer, and founder of Beyond the Body. Around here, we talk about building energy from the inside out through food, movement, mindset, and living in sync with our natural rhythms. No more quick fixes, no more burnout, just evidence-based tools and empowering conversations to help you thrive in your body and your life. This is your reminder that health isn't a side hustle, it's the foundation of everything that you do. So let's get into it. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Wow Body Podcast. I'm your host Renee, women's health and performance coach, and today we're diving into a topic that truly sits at the core of energy, hormones, and longevity, and that is your blood sugar blueprint. If you've ever felt that 3 p.m. crash, the cravings after lunch, or the irritability that seems to hit out of nowhere, chances are your blood sugar rhythm needs a little love. This episode will give you the full picture, why balancing blood sugar is essential for hormone health, how to do it through nutrition, movement, and lifestyle, and how it ties beautifully into your menstrual cycle. So let's dive in. Let's start with the basics. Blood sugar, or glucose, is the main energy source for every cell in your body. After you eat, carbohydrates break down into glucose and into your bloodstream. Insulin, a hormone from your pancreas, helps to move that glucose into your cells for energy or storage. When you eat a balanced meal, this process happens smoothly, but when you eat lots of refined carbs or sugary foods on their own, you get a spike. Blood sugar rises quickly, insulin surges, and then blood sugar drops fast. That's the crash that leaves you feeling tired, moody, or craving more sugar or caffeine. Over time, if this happens too often, your cells can become resistant to insulin. That's when energy, metabolism, and hormone balance all start to shift in the wrong direction. As women, this balance affects far more than just our energy. Insulin is tightly connected to our reproductive hormones. When glucose and insulin stay stable, our estrogen and progesterone can do their jobs properly. Unstable glucose, however, triggers cortisol spikes, your stress hormone, which can suppress ovulation, cause heavier or irregular periods, increase PMS symptoms, and lead to mid-cycle energy crashes. So if you want smoother cycles, better moods, or more predictable energy, your blood sugar blueprint is where it starts. It is so crucial. Now, there is, of course, a nutritional blueprint that is going to help you to balance your blood sugar levels. So let's talk about this pillar first because it is the most important pillar to discuss. When it comes to balancing your blood sugar levels, you need to make sure that you pair your carbohydrates with protein and fats. When you eat carbohydrates on their own, they hit your bloodstream fast. Add protein and fat, and you slow that absorption. It's like using a dimmer switch instead of a light switch. You want to eat your vegetables and protein first. This simple trick can actually dramatically lower glucose spikes. Start meals with fiber-rich vegetables and protein, and then leave the carbohydrates for last. It is a great tool for people who are really struggling with blood sugar balance. So on your plate, you would have your vegetables, you would eat some of those first, then you'd have your protein source, you'd eat some of that first, and that might look like salmon or chicken or eggs or tofu, some kind of protein. You're going to eat that next. Then you would start to eat your carbohydrates, and then you can eat everything together. But this little tool is actually amazing for helping your body to best absorb, okay? Then you want to make sure you front load your day with protein. And what this means is starting your day with a protein-rich breakfast, like eggs and avocado, or Greek yogurt with chia seeds, or even just a smoothie that has got a balance of protein, fats, and carbohydrates in it. This will help to stabilize glucose and keep you fuller for longer, which is even more of a bonus. It's also really important to avoid long gaps without food. Going 6 or 7 hours without eating for women can cause dips that drive cravings later on. So what I suggest you do is have 3 to 4 balanced meals every day. Start with breakfast, high protein, have a little break in between, have lunch, have a little break. You might have a little pick-me-up snack, and then have another break, and then have dinner. Or if you're doing a heavy workout that day, or you're doing some exercise intensity, you need to make sure you're having some fast carbohydrates before you do your workout. That's a different story. That's okay. You could have some rice cakes with a little bit of with a little bit of banana and some honey, and have that right before you do your workout. It's going to give you that energy you need to get through your workout. Then after that, you would have your high protein breakfast. Then you'd have your high protein lunch and your high protein dinner, packed with lots of fiber too, and good healthy carbohydrates. So it's not about restriction, it's about getting into a good rhythm. When you eat in balance, you create steady energy throughout the day, which is going to make you feel incredible. It's going to ensure that you're saying goodbye to those 3 p.m. crashes that you get in the afternoon, and hopefully reduce the amount of caffeine you feel you need to keep going through the day. Because a lot of us actually think that when we're having these blood sugar dips that we probably don't realize we're having, unless you're actually wearing a glucose monitor, that we're tired and we need more caffeine, or we need a sugar hit, when that's actually going to be one of the worst things you can do for your blood sugar. The best thing you can do is having this nutritional blueprint in place. Okay, it's really, really important. Now, second to nutrition, of course, is movement. The second pillar, okay, your most underrated glucose regulator. Muscle tissue acts like a glucose sink. Every time you strength train, your muscle cells become more sensitive to insulin, meaning they clear glucose from your blood more effectively and more efficiently. So if you're struggling with that low energy in the afternoon, if you're struggling with eating balanced meals and you're feeling as though your energy is up and down, strength training is one of the most incredible things that you can do for yourself. There's a reason why people who have muscle and strength train can eat a croissant or a donut and it not affect them at all, versus someone who doesn't have much muscle and doesn't strength train and doesn't move much, having that donut or that croissant on its own and feeling like they could go and take a nap afterwards. Okay, muscle is powerful. It is so powerful. Like I said, it is a glucose sink. So how can you increase your muscle mass? Well, you want to aim to do 2 to 3 strength sessions every week, and even 20-minute circuits in between, adding a 10-minute walk after your meals, especially after lunch or dinner. These little habits can cut your post-meal glucose spikes by up to 30%, which has been scientifically proven. And I think that's really cool and really exciting. And it just makes us, it reminds us how important movement is and how important building muscle is. It's not just about the aesthetics at all. Building muscle is so important for your longevity. When you have balanced blood sugar levels, you have better energy. When you have better energy, your output in life is so much better. So everything has its place and has its purpose for such a deeper, more meaning than just looking good in a bikini. Okay, we want to start building muscle so that we're strong, so that we're powerful, but so that we process things better in our bodies. I mean, how cool is that, right? That muscle has the power to help you metabolize glucose better. The next pillar is looking at your lifestyle. So the lifestyle blueprint, and this is where stress and sleep come in. When you're under chronic stress, cortisol triggers your liver to release glucose, even if you haven't eaten. Add poor sleep to that, and insulin sensitivity drops by up to 30% overnight. So if you're doing everything right with your food, but your sleep or your stress is out of balance, you'll still feel that roller coaster effect, okay? And there's simple ways that you can balance this. Keep consistent sleep and wake times. Trying your best to go to bed at the same time every night and waking up the same time every morning, so that you have a consistent sleep pattern. Your circadian rhythm is in a better rhythm. Create a wind down routine every night, something like stretching, journaling, or breath work to signal safety into your body. And you can do this in the morning as well, starting your day with this signaling of safety, so we don't feel as though we're running away from a tiger every single day and every single moment of the day, because that's chaos to our body. We also want to make sure we're minimizing screens before bed. Okay, TVs shouldn't be in bedrooms, iPads should not be by your bedsides, scrolling on your phone at night. These things are not ideal for optimal health. We need to minimize these before bed because they delay melatonin and keep your cortisol high, which means you're probably going to find it harder to go to sleep, which means the quality of your sleep is then affected. So these little habits, although we're not going to be perfect all the time, but trying our best to implement these is going to make a massive impact on our overall health and well-being and help to balance our blood sugar levels, specifically with the topic that we're talking about this week. So how can we bring this all together? Well, here's what a balanced day might look like. You might start your day with breakfast, and that's going to be a pre-workout snack because you're deciding you're going to do a big heavy strength session in the morning. So you had 2 rice cakes with half a banana and a little drizzle of honey to give you fast acting carbohydrates to give you that energy to get through those lifts, pairing that with some water. After you've done your session, you're then going to have your high protein breakfast, and you're going to have a high protein smoothie with whey protein isolate, some greens, a little bit of chia, and a small amount of nut butter, giving you good fats, fiber, and good protein to start your day. Then for lunch, you might decide you're going to have a salmon bowl with some quinoa, a little bit of avocado and some greens. You've got your salmon and avocado for your good fats. You've got salmon for protein, and then you've got your quinoa for healthy carbohydrates, protein and fiber, and then all of your greens for that extra micronutrient hit and fiber. And then for dinner, you might have a lean protein source like chicken, or you might have some tofu. You might bake this in the oven with some beautiful herbs and spices. Serve it with some roast vegetables like sweet potato, pumpkin, and potatoes. And then you might have a little tahini dressing over the top for some good fats. You're also probably going to use some olive oil to cook this in, adding that good fat component to the plate again. What you might also do is add in small little walks after you've had a meal, or even just jumping on the floor and doing a few push-ups and some squats to move the body to help with the process. You might even have a short strength session, okay? Or even just some mindful stress management like breath work or journaling or just meditating, doing something to help calm the body. Also, being mindful with when you eat your meals and how you eat your meals. Mindfulness is so incredibly important to help with optimal digestion and to help with our body's stress. So if we're in a mindful environment when we're eating, like at our table at dinner time with no distractions of screens or TV on, you might just have some light background music and you're with your family. Or if you're on your own, you might be sitting outside if it's a nice day and just enjoying the surroundings and eating your meal. That is what we call eating mindfully. Eating on the go, where you are on your phone and scoffing something back, or driving and scoffing something back, and constantly at your desk working and eating your meals, that is not mindfulness. It might happen every now and again, because remember, we're not aiming for perfection, we're just aiming for consistency where we can. But if you're doing this too often, it's not going to help you, okay? So these lifestyle habits and putting all of this together really does help you have better blood sugar levels, which is ultimately going to affect everything else that you're trying to achieve with your overall health. So balancing blood sugar is foundational for long-term health and hormone harmony. It's not a diet, it's a way of living that supports your biology. If this resonates with you, go and check out my blog post with the week 5 blood sugar blueprint meal plan. I've also got weeks 1 to 4 also on my blog with other themes that might help you to get an idea on how to build a balanced meal and a balanced week. It's built around these principles so that you can put them into practice straight away. And if you'd like personalized support, then book a health strategy call with me, or we can get a program sorted for you. We can map out your nutrition, your movement, even your cycles, and just find a way to help you feel energized and in tune with your body again. Until then, thank you so much for joining me on today's short episode. Just a really quick one to remind you how important blood sugar is. But until next time, I am looking forward to having you join me on my next podcast. Have a wonderful rest of your day, evening, or morning, whenever it is that you're listening to this podcast. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one.